Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I wanted to have a quick chat about the latest Manhunt Target that just went live in the Division 2 Season 11 update, because I have some thoughts that I want to share about it, and I wanted to just open the dialogue and collect all of your guys' input on it as well, because I think it's a pretty interesting glimpse into what we could see for the future of the Division heading into Year 5 and onwards. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so I want to start out by just reading out this tweet that I put out last night after I ran the latest Manhunt Target of Cursed, because I think it kind of sets the stage for what I want to discuss in this video. So, I said, I know it's, quote, fun to hate on the seasonal content, but I legitimately had fun running Cursed's bounty between the dynamic spawns, pacing, overall scale. I played in a group. It really feels like they've nailed what they're striving for gameplay-wise in Season 11. And so I just wanted to elaborate on that a bit, because I really do think there were a few combining factors that made this Manhunt Target feel just a bit more special and a bit more fun compared to some of the last ones. And to talk about that first part of the tweet, yeah, a lot of people hate on seasonal content in this game. That's not to say it's not warranted to a degree. I mean, here's the deal. In an ideal world, would we all love that every Manhunt Target gets a new mission in a new location with all new mechanics and bosses and whatever? Absolutely. Like, duh. But again, realistically, that's not where we're at with the development team, with the game, etc. So I'm just moving beyond that point and talking about the actual realistic side of the argument, which is where we're at with the game and what these seasons are offering us. So let's break the tweet down a bit and talk about why I enjoyed running Cursed's Bounty so much. And you're watching gameplay of it in the background, so hopefully that can help set the stage if you haven't done it yet for yourself. But the first bit there is you saw right off the bat, too, when we entered the mission, there's just new dynamic spawning. I think this is something they're working on and have been kind of slowly implementing into different things ever since like Season 10. If you remember in the Anderson mission, there were like black tusk waves that would spawn. Usually they have to spawn out of those closets, right? And even before you walk into a room in a main mission, I think the way it works is that they all spawn out of a closet and then they walk and spread out into a room. Whereas you saw in the Anderson mission that they would just spawn around corners and they would have this new spawning system. Again, that's my own guess. I don't think they've talked about that publicly, but I think they have been working on that kind of a system, and you see this on display here. There were enemies waiting as soon as we stepped into the underground part of that first bit of Tidal Basin. There's enemies that are around different corners and just kind of waiting, so it's pretty fun. I think it's a good way to just enhance the dynamicism of combat and keep players on their toes. Secondly, the pacing. What I really enjoyed here was that obviously Tidal Basin is a long mission, but they managed to strike a good balance between the pace at which you're heading through these different zones and the kind of combat that you see in them. Usually in main missions, you go to a room, you kill some ads, and there's a few waves that come at you before you move on. It's a bit slower and more methodical, right? With this, it really felt action-oriented. You get in there, you clear a wave, maybe there's a few more that spawn in from different areas, and then you're on to the next one, right? There's no waiting around, there's no doing any of that. It was very quick, very fluid, and I appreciated that. Thirdly, there was the group scaling. I've seen some people say that the manhunts in Season 11 specifically are a bit too easy on solo. I can kind of back that up. I did Bantam the other week just by myself, and it was in the background of one of my videos, and it was definitely a bit easy. So I don't know if there's a bit of tuning they need to do as far as scaling and difficulty is concerned, but in a group, you can see in here I played with 3 people total, it felt pretty good. The enemies had a good amount of health compared to their damage. There was a good amount of enemy density. There was a lot of that stuff. It just felt like it was coming together quite well. So maybe there is some tuning that needs to be done for those lower player counts, but at least for 3 people, it felt really nice. Then you'll see later on when we get there that Curse, the boss, actually had a bit of, I don't want to say mechanics, but he had a bit of specialness to him. He was one of the heavies with the minigun, and he had shock ammo, which I didn't realize off the bat, so you'll see me push up to him, and I kind of get stun locked down in the open, and I didn't know what to do. I had to tell my team to shoot his ammo belt so I could finally break free of it, and it was just cool to see a boss that actually had a bit of a uniqueness to him and something that we had to play around in order to take him down. On top of all that, there are the narrative elements that they've been including into these sub-target missions. This isn't new with the Cursed one, but you've seen since the first target of Season 11, now that every one of these you go to, there's a few audio lines that are thrown in from Kelso, just briefing you on the mission, talking about different things that you have to watch out for the boss. It's just one of those nice extra elements that makes it feel as close as it can to a new mission without it being in a new location and without there actually being new, formulated waves and all that stuff. Ultimately, I do think that this Manhunt Bounty Target mission, whatever they're called, the takeover bounties, it was helped. It was given extra gravitas by the fact that it was at Tidal Basin. That just kind of gives it a bit more scale compared to some of the other missions that it could have been at, so I recognize that, but ultimately, in my opinion, this is the best that sub-Manhunt Target missions have ever been, at least in my opinion. It was the most fun, it had the most scale, it had the most intricacy, it had the most narrative, and I think it just tied together really nicely. So I wanted to highlight that, wanted to point it out in case any of the devs ever see this or anything like that. Credit where credit is due, I had a lot of fun with this bounty. I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts about it, but ultimately I hope that we just continue to see this level of quality with this kind of content as we head through the rest of Season 11 and as we head into Year 5. I have a good feeling that hopefully we will. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and be sure to click that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on all of my future uploads in Year 5 coverage. I'm going to let the rest of this gameplay run so that you guys can see the rest of this mission for yourselves. If you maybe haven't been playing Season 11, you want to see what I'm talking about, it'll be right here for you. But let me know your thoughts if you have run this mission yourself, or if you're just kind of watching along and have some thoughts that you've come up with after hearing my commentary about it. Let me know what you're thinking. Do you think that this cursed bounty is a bit more involved in every way than some of the other ones? Do you think that maybe some things they did in the past were better? Whatever your thoughts are, as always, I'll be very curious to read through them. And that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold, out.
Hostile striker drone detected. Don't listen to him. He's still salty about that lottery ticket. Hi, little bird.
Reload! Cover me!
We got cover. Don't worry.
Whoa, put your head!
Identification confirmed. Mort, Cursed, Kellogg. Status, deceased.
Thank you for eliminating that threat, Agent.